Urban parks, the places where we jog, walk our dogs, or meet with friends. They can be small or large, more natural or more artificial, but usually we can find them in every city. But what makes a good park? There isn't a simple answer to that question, but there are a few principles that can guide us in designing a beautiful park. In this video, I'd like to present 8 principles: location, function, size and form, integration, proximity to transportation, relation to natural features, pathways, and places of interest.
Urban parks work best when they're places where people already are. Highly visible, easy to reach spots with a lot of pedestrian activity. That means mixed-use areas, transit hubs, or town squares. That's why we often find civic parks in the heart of cities. These central parks support social life, public gathering, and civic identity. We can also design parks near public transportation, like train or tram stops, which can help promote alternative modes of transportation. And depending on the geography of the city, parks can also be designed near natural elements, like waterfront promenades, natural parks, ecological corridors that link neighborhoods, or green belts that act as a buffer against urban sprawl. Beyond the physical location, it's just as important to define the function of the park. Different communities need different kinds of spaces. Recreational parks are one of the most common places where people can walk, read, or simply enjoy nature. Recreational parks can be designed everywhere, since everybody uses them. Larger cities can benefit from specialized parks, urban gardens, dog parks, or sport fields. Parks can also have a secondary function, like softening the edge between noisy street and the residential block. Linear parks, greenways, and even small pocket parks can make areas near heavy traffic much more livable, or mark a clear boundary between two parts of the city. One example that I like is the park around the historic center of Ingolstadt, Germany. Here the park, besides being a nice green space for the locals, also works as a buffer zone between the Altstadt, or the downtown, and the new city. This separation made it easier to pedestrianize the historical center, since it pushed the main road outside of this area.
After we decide where to put a park and what its function should be, we have to decide what size and form it should have. Urban land is expensive, so parks must be designed carefully. The smallest type, the pocket park, can be placed almost anywhere. They're nice and provide resting places. But my problem with them is that many mayors think it's enough to create 1 or 2 and then brag on social media about how much they love making the city green. It is preferable to have larger parks, around 0.4 to 4 hectares in every neighborhood. But the most interesting are the community parks, serving multiple neighborhoods or even whole towns, often ranging up to 20 hectares. These parks are very efficient because they have enough space to serve different functions for different types of people. At the largest scale, district or regional parks span dozens or even hundreds of hectares, serving the entire city with sports complexes, cultural spaces, or large natural areas. These types of parks are usually found in bigger cities. Besides size, it's also important to take the shape of a park into consideration. At large scales, this isn't as crucial, but at smaller scales it's usually better to avoid elongated shapes, unless the surroundings only allow for long, narrow lots. Part 4. Integration. A good park should never feel cut off. The best ones connect seamlessly with the streets and sidewalks around them. It's very important for a park to not be surrounded by roads, since this makes a park very uninviting for pedestrians. It also can make it very noisy and unpleasant. That means having a direct connection to sidewalks on at least one side, avoiding unnecessary obstacles or fences, and being clearly recognizable as a public space. These can also benefit the surrounding area, since nearby pedestrian zones can be used for cafes, restaurants, or other services. Part 5. Proximity to public transportation. A park should also be easy to reach by every mode of transport. Beside the pedestrian area, a good park should also be next to or host safe bike routes and be near public transit stops. Efficient public transportations are not just a way to move from one place to another, but it's also a way to promote walking, since people can move from one walkable area to another without cars. Part 6. Existing natural elements. Parks should also integrate existing natural elements. Rivers, forests, and wetlands can all become part of the design, adding character and ecological value. A famous case is the green belt of Vitoria-Gasteiz in Spain. There, planners linked together woodlands, meadows, and wetlands into a single network of green corridors. It's not only a rich natural habitat, but also a recreation space with trails and boardwalks for people to explore. The restored Salburua wetlands, once degraded, are now home to wildlife and even help protect the city from floods. This shows how using existing natural elements makes parks more resilient, more biodiverse, and more memorable for visitors. Part 7. Pathways. Organic paths encourage movement. Straight, rigid walkways might look tidy on paper, but they rarely match the way people actually move. Human walking patterns are organic, curving, meandering, following desired lines through space. That's why great parks favor pathways that feel natural and flowing. A curving path softens the visual impact, creates a sense of exploration, and feels more inviting than a rigid grid. A great park isn't just one space. It's many different places woven together. There should be lively zones where crowds gather, like open lawns, play areas, or performance spaces. But there should also be quiet corners, shaded seating, and intimate gardens for rest and reflection. A good example is Margit Sziget, or Margaret Island, in Budapest. The island is a large, nearly 1 square kilometer urban park that includes recreational areas, gardens, historical sites, spas, and event venues. It has expansive public spaces, but also hidden spots for more private experiences. Of course, not all of these principles need to be met for a park to be enjoyable, considering that most vacant urban spaces are very expensive, and that there are often greater financial benefits in turning them into residential or commercial areas rather than parks. Every green space is truly valuable and welcome. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe. It really helps me out. Have a great day.